the Houston Chronicle, after giving Lina Hidalgo a pretty darn good review, and actually after saying that Mealer was sort of self-centered and not allowing others to speak, and after stating many other things, after reading that entire where they were explaining who and why they were endorsing, I was about to say, oh wow, it seems like the Chronicle is going to endorse Lina Hidalgo. And then it says, but after some very, very difficult thoughts, we had to endorse Alexandra Mealer. And I was like, wow, after saying all of this, wow. But it didn't go over very well for a lot of folks who actually saw a difference in our county government. One that was no longer controlled by contractors. One that was no longer controlled by people who were funneling monies, or a developer wanting to build somewhere inside of in the aquifer, or one of these places that we know we shouldn't build. That was out. No longer could these guys come into the county house. So of course, spares were going to hit Miss Hidalgo. A lot of bad information, a lot of lies are going to come out. You mess with the powers that be. You mess with the people who control the economy or who decided to take over control of the economy in Harris County. You're going to be up with the big boys, and the big boys are going to do, and they're going to pay whomever to really try to make things look different. And that's what they did. But still, the Houston Chronicle, a great mainstream newspaper as they are, the ones who are really looking out for you, right? They came to the conclusion that we are going to pick somebody. We've been telling the story about Mealer long before the endorsement. We understood where she was funded. We understood who was funding her. We understood why they picked somebody that could say tacitly, pero tú sabes que yo también soy Latina, as if that should matter, but it doesn't. It didn't. It shouldn't. So now it turns out that it seems like the Houston Chronicle has gotten buyer's remorse. I won't say who one of the editors were, but they actually got onto Twitter and to say, no, actually, even though Mealer has gotten several $100,000 from Christian Nationalists, we are not going to go ahead and, she's not one of them. She's getting several $100,000 from them, but she's not one of them. To which one of the leaders of Indivisible Houston replied in the tweet and said, well, if you haven't given the money back, if you hold on to the money, then it seems to me like you're probably one of them. If you weren't, you would either donate that money somewhere. Hey, give folks who need that money the thing. Anyway, as it turns out, and this is what the Chronicle had to say. Why do two West Texas oil billionaires, Christian nationalists, waging war against secular public schools, care who becomes the next chief executive of Harris County, hundreds of miles from their homes? Why did a Houston real estate developer give $400,000, a staggering sum, in a local campaign to Republican county judge candidate Alexandra del Moral Mealer? Why did a furniture salesman who became a celebrity by waving fistfuls of cash and promising to save you money give $448,000 to Mealer in a single month? What, aside from earnest hopes of good governance, might these mega donors expect in exchange for their money? How much pressure will Mealer face to do their bidding if she wins? These and other questions arise in reviewing Mealer's latest campaign finance reports as she enters the home stretch of her bid to unseat one-term incumbent Democrat Lina Hidalgo. As the Chronicle's Jasper Scherer reported, Mealer has raised $8.6 million since July 1st, including $3.7 million in the past month alone. A county judge, $3.7 million in 1 month. En un mes, ella logró ganar $3.7 millones. 1 month. By comparison, in the 2018 election, then incumbent Republican Ed Emmett, somebody that a lot of folks like, raised only $446,000 from July through October. In other words, the old Republican guy that was running, he only raised 2,000% less. 2,000% less than Mealer did. But she comes in, somebody with no experience, never had a job of authority as she will have if she were to become the county judge, the most powerful person in Harris County controlling her purse strings. She got a bunch of rich people to give her $8.6 million. Harris County, who do you think she answers to? Does she answer to you or to those $8.6 million? Come on. We've spoken about purchasing candidates. We've spoken about purchasing politicians. We've spoken about why is it that you can't get in our county or in America the things that you need, but the wealthy, the rich, always seem to get what they want. This is an example. Now, of course, the county has a choice. You can decide if you want somebody who is owned and paid for by rich folk. You've gotten $4 million for a county judge position in 1 month. Harris County. Think about that. It's not like she wasn't raising millions of dollars before the endorsement. She was raising this money. So you have to ask the Chronicle. Remember what I talk about, independent media like KPFT, who only owes their relevance to you. Again, independent media, KPFT, and who owns their relevance to you, who owns their loyalty to you. Who does Alexandra Mealer owns her loyalty to? $8.3 million. Can we wake up? Can we understand what's going on in this county, in this country? Who owns Harris County? If they were to become the leader of Harris County, gets $8.3 million from just a few developers and rich fat cats. Look, you're not hearing this on Channel 13. You're not hearing this on MSNBC. You're not hearing this on NBC. You're not hearing this on CBS. Even as the Houston Chronicle was forced, their editorial board was forced to come back and say, editorial, Mealer, return your big donations from far-right mega donors. That's what the editorial board that just endorsed her is telling her. Return the money. That's what they're saying. Return the money. John Carter on the internet, he says, the other question is, why did they spend that amount of money on her campaign? They are buying the seat and will expect big returns. You can expect all flood mitigation to stop. Did your house flood before? You can expect it again. We know that an informed population will act as it should, informed, and will vote as it should, informed. I don't care who recommends a particular candidate. If you put the data out there, if you show where it's going to affect their bread and butter, if you still support that person, it's not shame on us for doing our job of informing. It is shame on you. We're putting it out here. Si también quieren hablar y hablar en español, me pueden llamar, podemos hablar en español. Si quieres hablar algo de lo que está haciendo Alexandra Mealer, también lo que está haciendo Lina Hidalgo. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. One item that leaps from Mealer's reports, according to the Chronicle, a pair of $100,000 donations from the Defend Texas Liberty Political Action Committee. This PAC is funded almost entirely by Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilks, who made their fortunes in oil exploration and fracking and have donated lavishly to far-right candidates for the Texas legislature and statewide offices. Among other notable gifts, Houston home builder Richard Weekly gave Mealer $400,000 for the largest single donation in July through September reporting period. Furniture salesman and philanthropy Jim Mattress Mac McInvale's and his wife, Linda, have given more than $600,000 to Mealer. McInvale often appears in television ads with Mealer and was one of her earliest supporters. Again, these are a few people giving her a lot of money. And you folks out there are a lot of people not giving her money. So who is she responsible to? Who is she responsible to? We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.